This is my buddy.
Hi, Facebook. How are you? We got on Facebook Live, YouTube. We're so excited. We have our program tonight, The Restored Couple on the Couch. And look who we have joining us today.
Everybody.
I'm so excited she cleared her schedule to come to chat with us. And let me give you her stats. You ready? This is the wife of Kevin Boykins.
I am.
She's been in the financial services for over 19 years. She's part of the Boss Up Columbus movement. She started the 50 Plus Shades of Bald Liberation Day and Round Table. She's the auntie to everybody's kids. And don't let the long nails and the tattoos fool you. She's one of the smartest people in the game.
I try.
Miss Shaundretta Boykins.
Hi, everybody.
All right. So this is actually our second time. We had technical difficulties, so we're going to do this again for you people.
Just for you.
Just for you. All right. So I always ask all our guests, are you from Columbus, Ohio?
I'm not. I am from Cleveland, Ohio, born and raised.
Very good. So
Yeah.
what was it like growing up in Cleveland?
Cleveland was fun. It was interesting. I grew up just in a regular neighborhood. It wasn't the projects and it wasn't the suburbs. It was working class. I was the baby cousin of 5 girls, 1 boy. So, and then, all of the neighborhood kids, we were cousins as well. Fought a lot, but was a nerd at the same time. They used to call me the cool nerd. But in my house, if one swing, you all swing. So my cousins, they were bad girls. And they used to get into a bunch of fights. And so as a result, I used to be in a bunch of fights.
Interesting.
So yeah, but Cleveland was fun. It was always something to do every night of the week. Weekend, weekday. We used to sneak into bars and do all kind of goofy stuff as kids, but it was fun.
And it's funny to even to know that about you because you're the clutch my pearls type of woman.
Yeah, I used to be. Thank God for salvation because I was wide open as a kid, as a teenager. I lived 2 separate lifestyles and I was forced to, not by choice. My grandparents raised me and they were in church. And so I lived that life. But then my mother was an addict for many years. And so, if she strung out, sleep, or doing her thing, I was free to kick it.
Sure.
And I had an aunt that was 10 years older than me. So when I was 8, she was 18. When I was 10, she was 20. And she was more like my sister,
wow.
Than my auntie. So whatever she was into, I was into.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you were raised by your grandparents.
Yeah.
And there's a strong, I've heard you say in the past, they have strong faith ties.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My grandmother, she was just an absolutely praying woman all day, every day, regardless of what she was doing. She could be watching soap operas or game shows, and she would just say, "Thank you, Jesus, Lord have mercy," out of nowhere. Or she could be in the kitchen cooking and she would be praying. And I'd be like, "Grandma, what?" And she'd be like, "As long as you can say thank you, Jesus, and Lord have mercy, you can pray. You don't need to be talking long or try to be eloquent with your speech. As long as you can say those 2 things, you praying."
Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness. And a lot of, I see, just knowing you, your, the jobs and this, everything you do is some sort of ministry.
Yeah. I position it that way. I look at it that way. And it helps me to be able to have longevity in that because pre-salvation, I didn't care about people. If you wasn't a family member or a best friend, I didn't care about you. I would fight you. I would pick a fight with you. I couldn't care less. But when I got saved, God kind of 180 that thing. So now I have this love for people beyond limits, like in spite of love. My mother had done some things to me in my childhood. She had chosen to be with men before and she chose drugs over me. But I loved my mother through that process. I never resented her. I never held anything against her. As of January this year, she moved in with me, which was my goal. I've always said that despite what my mother did, she was my hero. And I've always said that I want to be able to retire my mom. She's worked since she was 14. She just turned 65. And I was like, I want to get to a place in my finances where I can support her needs and wants.
Got it.
And so God has done that. And as of January, she's my roomie.
Wow.
So she's me and Kevin's roomie.
Okay, so you also have another roomie in the house. You're a parent of a dog.
I am. I'm a fur baby parent. So Jules Diamond
Jules
is her
Diamond,
name,
of course,
and she is fantastic on every side. She's a perfect puppy.
I'm sure.
Kevin would differ. She's spoiled rotten, but I call her a perfect puppy.
Wow. So you, where did you go to college?
I went to OSU.
Okay.
Yep, I went to OSU. I triple majored in criminology, sociology, and African American studies, and I had a concentration in African American literature.
Criminology.
Now
the financial credit guru is criminology.
Yeah, so it's funny because I wanted to be a sniper and I wanted to be a criminal psychologist. So I wanted to know what made people wake up and say, oh yeah, I want to eat your guts or eat your face, or just crazy stuff, like what makes people tick. And so for two reasons I couldn't. One is because Kevin was an ex-offender, my husband. He was like, you are not working in the prison. You're too soft. They will be have convinced you to sneak them out of jail and all kind of stuff. So we're not doing that. And the other reason is because once I got in financial services, I loved it. And so I didn't want to do anything else other than what I was doing.
And so when you got out of college, you were into banking.
Yes. So I was in banking in college. It was the only job that worked with my schedule. So being a triple major student, I had a full class load and I also had 2 jobs. And so, but I had expensive taste. So I wanted a third job. And so the only job that would work with my school schedule was the banking job.
I see.
Because the bank was open 7 days a week. It was inside of a grocery store, had extended hours. So we were open to 8 o'clock at night. And then we're open on Saturdays and Sundays, extended hours as well. So it worked with my school schedule.
It's like you don't see that too much anymore, those extended hours.
No, because there's so many conveniences now, banking online and taking copies of the check with your phone and that kind of stuff. So because technology is more advanced, we don't need the extended hours.
Wow. So how long were you in banking?
I was in banking for a total of 19 years.
19 years.
19
wow.
American years, yes. Yes.
Wow.
Most rewarding time in my life. I love the relationships that I built with people. There was one customer, he would get on my nerves every single day. But he owned a meat company that supplied the meat for Olive Garden. So the chicken, the steak, and the seafood at Olive Garden, he owned the company that supplied their meat. Wow, and so when I did get married, he found some dry ice for me. I don't know where he found it from in Ohio, but he found it and he gave me enough meat for my reception to feed 400 people. Yeah,
really?
Gave it to me.
Wow.
So building those relationships with people, there's nothing more rewarding than that.
Wow. So what prompted you to get out of banking? So
early on in 2017, God spoke to me and said, I told God, I said, God, whatever doors you open for me, I won't hesitate. I'm walking through. And so, of course, when you say something to God, he makes you prove it, if that's what you really mean. So I had been in Chase for 7 years, and I had been at a particular office, the Chase Private Client Office, for 7 months. Well, 7 is the number of completion and perfection. I went on a vacation for 14 days. I've never done that, 14 days straight. And I came back and got sick to my stomach when I got to my office. And so I couldn't really explain it or describe it to anyone. My husband called and I was bawling and he was like, babe, what's wrong? I'm coming up there. Who messing with you? I was like, nobody's messing with me.
That's Kevin.
Yeah. I'm like, nobody's messing with me. Right. I said, but I'm uncomfortable. Like I've done it all. I've been it all inside of the banking center. I was like, so I got to do something different. And so he said, well, call Mel, who was my district manager at the time, and talk to her. And I could talk to Mel because she's spiritual as well. Mm-hmm. So she understood that it was a spiritual thing, not a natural thing. And so what God said to me was, I've completed this thing for you. I've perfected it. I've given you everything that you need to take the information that I've given you to the marketplace. That's where your ministry is, not behind the pulpit. Your ministry is in the marketplace. So take all of this financial knowledge that I've given you and take it back to my people in the marketplace. And every time I got scared, he would do something that would motivate me to go. Like only he could. Even when I wanted to rescind my offer of my 2 weeks notice, he would make something happen. And it would be like, I know that this is the right thing. So because of that, and because of my husband saying, baby, I just want you to be happy. So if I got to work 2 or 3 jobs while you transition, I'm willing to do that. That was what pushed me out the door.
So you really did have doubt.
I did have, I didn't have doubt. I was it was a fear of the unknown.
I see.
Because I was like, okay, all I know is banking for 19
Sure.
years. What's on the other side of this?
That was a marriage.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. What's on the other side of this? And so it was my fear of, and this is what I told God. This is what got me unscared. After he spoke to me the last time, and my husband said what he said, I said, God, you know what? I said, I don't know what the future holds, but I know that you hold the future. Mm-hmm. So if you hold it, I can't fall.
Sure.
That was all that I needed. That was my confirmation and my confidence that I can walk away from this thing and be okay. And when I tell you, me and my husband never missed a beat, I can't even, it was like, where do I get all this money from? Wow. My business started booming. I mean, I would go all week, Monday through Thursday. Nobody. On Friday, 7 people would pay for their credit restoration.
My goodness. So that's when the Credit Connoisseur got birthed?
So no, the Credit Connoisseur got birthed 8 years ago. I was my first client. I had filed bankruptcy twice. I was, yes, 2-time bankruptcy offender. I was threatening to file bankruptcy a 3rd time. Because when you file bankruptcy, they don't teach you anything. And even being in financial services, there's no credit curriculum. They don't teach you anything either. In fact, they tell you the wrong stuff to do in banking world for credit. And so I literally stopped and I said, God, I feel like a walking contradiction. I said, I'm going to face the face of finance in the city. Whether people bank with me or not, when they have a question about money, they come to Shaundretta. Yes. When they have a question about banking, they come to Shaundretta. How can I be effective in ministry and be a walking contradiction? I said, I need help. I said, and I'm a poor witness to you. I said, if you're my father and you own the cattle on 1,000 hills, how am I? How I got raggedy finances?
Right.
This is crazy. I'm like, this don't even make no common or biblical sense. I said, so something has to be done. So I literally, and he orchestrated my steps, my fingertips, because I became a student of the game. So I paid money. I gave my time, other resources to get this information so that I could change my situation and feel like, 1, I can be a better witness to God. And 2, if I can help myself, I can help others.
And there's so much trending and so much going on in the credit world. It's overwhelming for the regular person. Yeah,
a lot of people say you can fix your own credit and you can, or girl, I can fix it, get a secure credit card. You know, there's no laws against you fixing your own credit. There's no laws against you operating on yourself, but I bet you go to the doctor. Right. There's no laws against you changing your own oil, but I bet you go to a mechanic. So when people tell you, and it's big business, so everybody calls themselves an agent, but I always recommend people do your research, talk to people, because guess what? If you put a cat in the oven, that don't make it a biscuit. You put a man in the pulpit that got a collar around his neck, that don't make him a pastor. So everybody that can put up a fake credit score or something, that doesn't make them an agent. Yes. That doesn't make them. And if all they're telling you is secure credit card and that they can get deletions, run the other way really quickly, because that's the bottom of the barrel. That's beyond elementary. That's like kindergarten level stuff. So do your due diligence, do your research, but this thing is very fluid. It changes all the time. Some laws were implemented as soon as 2018. And if your credit restoration agent can't tell you what those laws are, you should run away from them very quickly.
I saw a couple of posts that I wanted to bring up. You had put a post up a few months ago. And again, if you follow her on social media, she sometimes gives you nuggets that you don't pay for. So I would watch her. So she had mentioned that at some point, that the amount of money that you have in your banking, possibly in your checking, it affects you as well.
So that's called the Ultra Score. So that is coming out. Experian is the Equifax is the credit agency that's testing that right now. It's a pilot, but it is active, and some creditors are using it. And what happens is they take the average of your checking balance for the past 90 days. It has to be an average of $400. And if you've had an average, that's a daily, you have to have at least $400 in your account every single day. That's what that means for 90 days. And you're on the cusp of being approved, but you're falling just short. If the creditor that you are going to get the credit from will pull your Ultra Score, if you allow them to, and they have the software to be able to do it, it could be the difference between your decline and your approval. So they'll give you some extra points for maintaining a healthy credit checking account.
Got it.
Checking account.
And I was looking at, I follow a lot of times who you follow, a lot of us follow too, because we're fascinated by it. And so one of your mentors, Flame Newton, put a post up today, I think it was today, that said something like, even they knew somebody that had a credit score of 800s that was denied credit.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've seen 720s get declined, typically because of two reasons. One, your debt to income. So if you have more money or close to a lot of money going out than you're bringing in, your debt to income will get you declined quicker than your credit score will. They figure, hey, if I extend this credit to you, something happens to your employment, I'm the last one to get paid. They don't want to take that risk.
That's interesting.
If you're already overextended, they don't want to pile something else onto you. And then if something happens with your income, they're the first ones to not get paid.
Wow.
The other reason is that some creditors, they look at two things. They're either going to look at your score or they're going to look at your report, or they may look at both. And so I'll give you a case in point. Discover Card is score driven only. Chase Bank is report driven. So you could have an 850 credit score with Chase and have owed child support, have a bankruptcy, have a repossession, still with an 850 credit score, and they'll decline you because of what's on your report. But Discover, they don't care what's on your report. They're only going to look at your score. So you could have all of those things on your report, but have a great score, and they're going to approve you. So the way to be a savvy consumer, if you don't want those inquiries on your credit report, but you know that you have some adverse things on your credit report, is to first call the creditor and say, hey, are you score based or are you report based? They're not going to know what you mean, so you're going to have to explain it to them. But so they're going to say what, and then you say, hey, I got some stuff on my credit report that's kind of iffy, but my scores are XYZ. The other clue to that is you need to know your scores before you call.
Wow. So what does it do for you to help people educate about credit?
That's everything for me. It's my energy. Every single day that the Lord sends, literally every single day that I open up my eyeballs, I'm studying about credit. I'm studying the laws. My mentor was here a couple weeks ago, and we were downtown at the law library looking up case law around credit. So if your credit restoration agent isn't going to those lengths to prove some things for you, you might want to check who you're investing your time and your money into and relying on for that stuff. Today, when I leave here, before I go to sleep, I'll be researching something. Like I can't not do it because it changes that often and it fascinates me. And they really are becoming they're billion-dollar industries now, but they're becoming trillion-dollar industries based on our ignorance. And so I believe in the education. I do credit education. As a byproduct, your score is restored, but I don't do credit restoration. I don't do credit repair. I don't even let people use that verbiage when they say, hey, I heard somebody tell me you did credit repair. I don't do credit repair. Somebody told me you do credit restoration. I don't do credit restoration. I do credit education. Yeah. And as a byproduct of you being educated, you change your behaviors, and the new behaviors is what restores your score.
Tell us about the 3 C's. The 3, yes.
Yes. So the 3 C's are my favorite because it applies to every area of your life. I was actually teaching a financial services workshop at the Destiny Center where Michelle Reynolds is. This was years ago. And as I was standing up teaching, the Holy Spirit drops 3 C's in my spirit. And it is communication, commitment, and conduct. And I'm like, what? And he's like, if you can master these in any area of your life, you got it. And so he's like, in any ship that you're in, relationship, partnership, fellowship, any ship that you're in, there should be communication. Even if you're by yourself, you should be communicating with me, God. So there should be some kind of dialogue, because there's a scripture in the Bible that says, come, let us reason together. He wasn't talking about the people there. He was including you. He was including me. So he's saying, come on, let's sit down and have a conversation. So the foundation of anything is effective communication and conversation. So let's sit down and talk. Based on what we discuss in this conversation, we're going to create some commitments. So we're going to set some goals. We're going to set some deadlines. We're going to set some benchmarks. These are going to be our commitments. And then in order to bring those commitments to pass, we have to change our conduct. Wow. We have to alter our conduct. So our feet should be pointed in the direction of that commitment. There's no way I say, oh, so God, one of the things I want to do is save, but then my feet go to spending. If I tell God I want to save, my conduct has to line up with saving. So my feet can't point towards spending. My feet have to point in the direction of saving.
That's good.
And so what does that look like?
That's good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you transitioning to ECDI.
So ECDI, it was so funny. So I left Chase, and for a few months, I worked my own business, and it was booming and it was beautiful. And then in January of 2018, I went and helped one of my clients from Chase who ran her own business do some administrative office work. And then I got a call from a friend and said, hey, they got this position for Women's Business Center at ECDI. And I know that you help women business owners. This right up your alley. You should go and apply and da-da-da-da. So I was one of 14 candidates. So at the end of all of the interviewing process and the multiple interviews, there was, it came down to 2 of us. Mm-hmm. So me and a beautiful lady named Ramona Mills. And she ultimately got the position. So when HR called me, they said, I got good news and bad news. Which one you want for first? I said, give me the good news. They said, the good news is you didn't get the position. So I was like, okay, what's the bad news? The bad news is you didn't get the position, or vice versa, whatever. So I'm like, well, how is that good news for both? And he said, well, with your personality, you fit better as a relationship manager. I said, but there are no openings for a relationship manager. He said, well, the founder created a position for you, because she said that we can't not hire this girl.
Isn't that amazing?
So I was like, wow, because I'm a terrible interviewer, if you ask me.
Are you?
I think so.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I say ain't and can't, and I'm hood, so I just talk how I talk. I don't try to dress it up. I had big eyelashes on when I went. I had big earrings on. I was Shaundretta, because when you've been in corporate America for so long, you get tired of politicking and being somebody else. So, honey, I was like, what you see is what you get. I had long nails. I'm like, I ain't doing nothing different. So if you want me, you want me. If you don't, I'm going to keep pushing this credit connoisseur business until God does something else.
Right.
And so I was like, that's amazing. So he was like, we're going to negotiate your salary, because we realize your reach, your influence, and the impact you could have, or whatever. So they negotiated my salary. That was something that I could doable. Mm-hmm. I could live with. And they created a position for me. So it was great. I stayed in that position for a little over a year, which is this year, 2019. I was recently promoted. But in that year, I was able to put over $500,000, so $560,000 in these Columbus streets, or Ohio streets, because I got some Dayton clients as well, for small business owners.
Praise God.
In the city.
Yes.
So leaving a legacy for their children, mm-hmm. Definitely an opportunity for ministry.
And some of those smaller loans are just as important than the bigger ones you were talking about.
Listen, seed money, that's how you got to look at all your money. That's why I've changed my verbiage. I don't spend money and I don't spend time. I invest money and I invest time, because when you have a wise investment, you expect a return. And so when somebody has seed money, that's only for you to plant that money and watch it grow. So I understand what a loan under $10,000 does for a small business, mm-hmm. who needs some equipment, a photographer that needs a light, mm-hmm. or a lens, mm-hmm. A chef who needs some chafing pans or some pots and knives or that kind of thing. I understand what that little money mm-hmm. can do to help a small business grow and expand.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow. You're doing good things out there. So what is your current position? What is your title?
So what's so funny is the position that I went for 1 year ago, I just got promoted to. Wow. It's phenomenal. So I'm the director of the Women's Business Center. I have 6,000 square feet at the Women's Business Center. I have a reach that I didn't have before. I'm in communication with people at the land bank with the city of Columbus for access to capital on a larger level for small businesses. So many tables, just walking in a position that I am able to sit at, that otherwise I was not able to sit at these tables. Yes. So it has done something amazing. And I speak the language of the people.
Yes.
So I'm not bringing no other message than help the people. Wow. For real. Don't be a figurehead. Don't say you're going to do it. Don't make all these promises and break them. Say what you're going to do and then establish the plan and execute.
Do you talk like that at the table too?
All day long. All day long. They already know. I'll be like, listen, I talked to a gentleman from the city, Mr. Gillette, Henry Gillette. I said, okay, we didn't talk enough. I'm not meeting to meet again. So the next time we get together, there needs to be some action. This the man at the city. Now he controlled where the money going.
Wow.
This the conversation I'm having with him because I don't want to meet. What we keep talking about. We already know what's going on. We don't need to keep talking. We need action. We need action.
Wow.
And so I'm pulling him on the carpet to say, hey, we need action.
Wow.
You know, I hate the word empower. I don't want to empower nobody because that's a sensation that's short-lived.
Yes.
Oh, I got empowered while I was here. I felt so much whatever while I was here. You don't need no more empowerment. You don't need no more nothing. What you need now is to be equipped and mobilized. Yeah. So you need to be trained and taught, and then you need to be pushed into execution. And if I can't do that or we're not doing that, then we just keep getting these sensations and then going back to the way we were before we got this high.
That's true.
That's like people go to the altar. You either get life or light. You go and get life. That's when you get God. You get saved. You change. You go and get light. When you walk back, it's darkness.
Right.
So it's going back to the same thing.
My goodness.
I don't want it.
So you support so many in the community, and it's very important for you in the Black community. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of a good lead way to talk about Boss Up Columbus.
Yes. So I just, I have friends of every nationality, and I've traveled abroad. So I have people on my social media page. They're my babies from overseas. And because I'm pro-Black doesn't mean I'm anti anything else. I'm really pro people. But I have an affinity for my people because I understand where they're coming from. I've been there. And in a lot of ways, I'm still there. I'm a triple minority. I'm young. I'm Black. I'm a quadruple minority. I'm bald head. I'm Black. I'm young, and I'm a female. So add some more. I got long nails and tattoos. Right. So I get it. I get it. I get being prejudged before you ever open your mouth. I get all of that stuff. And I also know that we're the most creative people on the planet, and people have been stealing from us since the beginning of time. And that a lot of the businesses that are open because we didn't have the financial resources, or we didn't have the right connections, somebody stole our idea and ran with it, and now they're golfing and we're homeless. Woo. Or they're golfing and we're paycheck to paycheck. So I get that. I feel that pain. I feel that that energy, and I can't live with it. So what I do is try to create avenues or open doors for people to walk through so they can experience what they should be experiencing, given that these are their ideas and their dreams and their hopes and their passions. So Boss Up Columbus stands for Black Owners Sustaining Success. And that's just a call to the Black business owners and the Black community support one another. My thing is about mentality. I tell them all the time, if I come into your establishment and it's Black owned and you give me bad service, I'm going back. Wow. And if you give me bad service again, I'm going to pull you to the side and say, listen, sis, or listen, bro, I've been in here twice. And the 2 times that I came in here, the service has been subpar. I want to spend my money with you, but you got to help me spend my money with you. You can't treat me like a dog when I come in here.
That's big. That's huge what you just said.
Yeah, I'm going back. Because you could be having a bad day. Yeah. You could be having a one-off. And I understand being in corporate America, and I understand being a human that professionals do as they must, not as they feel. I get that, but everybody ain't taught. Everybody hasn't been taught. So we are so unforgiving as a people. We got to learn to give people a second chance. Wow. The other thing is, there's a Black-owned beauty supply. Rico Beauty, 973 Main Street. Deanna and Daisha, those are my sister. I sent Deanna, y'all see my lashes? Okay, I sent Deanna a picture of the lashes that I wear. I said, sis, find these lashes and sell them. I said, because I don't want to give my money no more for my lashes to this man from the Middle East. I want to give you my money because I invest my money. I want to invest my money with you. I don't want to spend my money with him because I ain't investing in him. I don't care. He don't even believe what I believe in. You're a believer. She's a sister. I want to invest my money with you. So here's a picture of the lashes that I wear. Sell them. Wow. So I can come get them from you.
That's good.
So you go in these Black establishments, don't walk out because they don't have what you have. Ask them if they can get it. And if they can, go. I buy 10 pair of lashes, 12 pair of lashes at a time.
Yeah, me too.
Go there, tell them what you want, supply and demand. That's what every other culture does. They don't supply nothing we don't demand because we're the biggest consumers. Yes. That's why when you walk in the Asian hair store, you hear gospel music, but guess who they praise? Buddha. Quit being gullible and crazy. It's propaganda. They're drawing you in, making a fool out of you, so you can feel an emotion because they got gospel music on when you walk in there.
That is so good. That's touching me, even me, because I will go into an establishment and be upset about the food or the service, and I really should take the time. Listen, give that person a second chance. We're guilty of it too, my husband and I.
Yeah, give them a second chance. And if they're the second, I'm not crazy, and I don't say keep spending your money on people who are gonna keep treating you crazy. That's not the point. The point is that beauty supply where the agents follow you around and think that you're stealing. You go back every payday to get your hair and get your stuff. You go back every single time. They treat you like a dog and don't care nothing about you. But a Black person, they're not allowed to make no mistakes. God forbid they make a mistake or do something. We are so unforgiving to one another. It breaks my heart. So my mentality is, if you don't sell it, but you can, I'm going to ask you to start selling it so I can invest in your business. My mentality is, if you give me bad service one time, I'll let you get that off, but I'm coming back. The second time I come back, if I get bad service, I'm pulling your coattail. And I'm going to say, listen, if I feel like this, others do too. This is a 2 off, not a 1 off. This is a 2 off. So help me continue to support you.
Right.
And if they don't take or receive it, then you go somewhere else, but don't walk away the first time. Because here's the thing, nobody is shopping with us. So if we stop shopping with us, we put each other out of business. You know how businesses stay in business? So Enron, I don't know, Enron was some kind of fluky stuff, but you'll never see an insurance company go out of business. Ever. They will bail each other out behind your backs for eternity. You know why? Because they say, if we allow one of us to fail, the people will lose faith in all of us. So they don't let each other fail. And for every dollar you invest in an insurance company, they invest one of their own. They match it to make sure when you file a claim, they can pay you out. They don't let each other fail because they say, if we do, you'll lose hope and faith in the whole system. What if Black churches operated off of that? What if Black churches said, we're not going to see this Black church fail. We're going to bail them out. That's why people lose faith in the church. What if we did the same thing with our businesses? I'm not going to let your business fail. Because if I do, then they're going to say that for all Black businesses. You know, we've been taught some dumb stuff. My grandfather, he was from down south, Birmingham, Alabama. He would say, a NIGGA under the hood will make a motor no good. That was to say that if a Black person is involved, it's going to fail. Right. He would also say that an NIGGA will sink the whole ship because he can't be the captain. I had to unlearn that. And now I'm working hard to fight against that because we are perpetuating that thing. So I'm working hard to say, no, Black people can do good business. Black people will do good business. They will operate in excellence. Everything that they said, I say the opposite of. Until we start to perform that way, I'm going to continue to say the opposite of.
That's good.
So Boss Up is a movement by itself. We have some core values. One, we do what's called town halls. We go around and we visit a Black-owned business every month, and we stay for 60 minutes, and we give them a cash injection. What that means is we call the community out, Boss Up members comes out, and we support that business. The first one we did was at Shrimp Lips. We stayed there for 60 minutes. In that hour, she made over $1,000 just from us, not with her regular clientele. She had a separate tally that she was keeping for Boss Up, and she made over $1,000. We have a core value that is about our babies, helping our babies. You know, I put a post up today that says, you know, parents ask me all the time, why you always talk about entrepreneurship, you never talk about college? And I said, well, you haven't prepared your children to go to college and come out debt free. And so they're like, what? And they get all up in arms. And I'm like, yeah, I love college. I love my college years. They were awesome. But I don't like college debt. I hate college debt. I said, so riddle me this or picture this. Your kid turns 18. You have a gift for them. Their gift is a cleaning business. You give them a cleaning business that has its own contracts, and you teach them to use the income from the contract to pay their way through college. That way they come out of college a successful business owner and debt free.
That's good.
That's what I'm talking about. And if not a cleaning business, I don't care. Teach them a trade. Make them a mechanic. You know how many kids drive hoopties to college and cars break down.
Right.
Send them to trade school and
Yes.
let them become something that they can utilize to create an income for themselves, so that they have zero or not as much college debt that they'll be paying until they die, because that's it.
And it was funny. She said that was a gift to you parents.
Yeah, that was a gift. Right, exactly. That's a gift to the parents.
Yes.
Definitely.
Wow.
So yeah.
So let's talk about the 50 plus shades of bald movement.
So this is crazy, y'all. So I'm a shop baby. Grew up in the shop. Grandma owned a shop. Aunties owned shops.
For the white folks, that's the hair salon.
Yeah, hair salon. So grew up, and then we had birthday parties, graduation parties, everything at the shop. We had, and so I would go to shop 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, get out 11 o'clock Saturday night.
Wow.
Because paying customers come first is what I was always told.
Got it.
Then even when I tried to pay, I still had to be there all night. So I in January, I felt a strong pull to cut my hair off.
Now, if you follow her on social media, she's had every color, style, everything on the planet.
Everything. So I felt a very strong pull to cut my hair off. And I told my husband, I said, babe, I'm going to cut my hair. He was like, you're not cutting your hair. I was like, I promise you I'm going to cut this hair off. I'm tired of it. I'm over it. It's dumb. I was telling the girls at church I was cutting it off. They did the same thing. You're not cutting your hair off. I said, okay. So on Valentine's Day, my mother wasn't feeling well. So I said, well, I'll stay home and I will work from home. And I had an appointment that day. And I said, I'll wash my hair and get it all ready for my stylist so she doesn't have that much work to do. So I got up, hubby had left for work, and I got up and I washed my hair, and I came in the bedroom and I looked at the nightstand and there were some scissors there. So I looked back at the TV and I looked at the nightstand again, and the scissors were still there. So of course that was a sign from God that I need to cut my hair. So I picked the scissors up, cut my hair. Then I did like this and I was like, no, that's not right. So I went in the bathroom and got the clippers. And so I got the clippers and cut it down, and it still wasn't clean. It was like peach fuzz. And I was like, this looks crazy. And so then I got some shaving cream and went and got hubby's razor, and I just shaved my head, went to town. So
that blows me away.
I love it. I don't regret a second of it. And soon after that, I went to a business trip in DC, and I was in the hotel. And I was laying in the bed, probably watching TV, and something just hit me like, do a 50 Shades of Bald photo shoot. And I was like, what? I was like, I don't even know 5 bald women, let alone 50. And I put it on social media, and 70 people.
70.
I got 70 names from social media. So, and the best part about the day is a lot of people want to come and just be a part of the energy.
Including myself.
It's just, some people are bald by force, some by choice. There's cancer, there's alopecia, there's medication that they take that make their hair fall out. So there's a lot of different reasons why. Then some people just by choice. It's like, I'm over this hair. And here's the beauty and blessing in this. When I cut my hair, I said, God, I'm going to save a lot of money getting my hair done. Minimum, my hair is $200 a month. That's with the hair and with the paying the stylist. I said, but I want to feel this savings. So what I did is I set up a separate savings account, and every 2 weeks, as if I was going to get my hair done, I take $100 out and I put in the savings account.
Wow. So
what I've been able to do with some of that, and I probably do it maybe once every couple months, is I will put an extra $100 on the principal of my house, or an extra $100 on the principal of my car.
That's good stuff.
And then the rest, I'll just let it stack. And then whatever I decide to do, whether that be go on vacation or take it and put a lump sum toward the house or the car, I can do because I have this money that I'm saving to be able to do it.
So tell me about the actual event.
So it's on it's on June 22nd. It's at the Frank W. Hill Black Cultural Center on OSU's campus. And we're going to, outside of the photo shoot, we're going to have a round table as well, where we're going to discuss that the emotion behind it, the feelings, the self-esteem, if there were any issues. My 2 baby nieces are coming. They're 12 and 13. Their hair is down here. It's beautiful, but I want them to see beauty in all of its forms.
Right.
I want them to not be, they know Auntie Drita does everything, but perhaps they see another bald woman or something that they can be sensitive, because they don't know if that was choice or force.
Right.
Yeah, for them. So it's going to be amazing. Rita Filler Yates is going to be emceeing the dialogue. We have a panel of women that are going to open up So I think it's going to be very emotional and cleansing. And we got a lot of people that's coming with hair that don't have a desire to cut their hair, won't be a part of the photo shoot, but want to be a part of the energy.
And for Black women, hair is such a big deal for us.
It's a thing. It is. And so it came to me that all the stuff is vanity. Makeup, jewelry, hair. It's an accessory and it's all vanity. And when I made the post, the first words that I put was, "I am not my hair." And I mean that. I would have clients that would come past the bank. They've done all their banking for the week, but they would come to the bank to see my hair, and they would say that.
Really?
Yeah, I came into the bank to see what kind of hair you had this week. I'm like, get a life. Who even cares? I can take a picture and show it to you. Like, what? Why is that such a thing? And when it becomes, when anything tries to exalt itself higher than your calling, higher than God, anything like that, it's time to cut it off. You know, the Bible says that if your right arm offends your brother, cut it off. And not that my hair was offensive or anything like that. I just felt this pull, but it's so freeing. And I tell you, you know, I don't say this to be arrogant. God knows I'm probably the most humble person in the world. But there was somebody who walked past me at the concert. She came back. She said, "I had to double back and tell you how stunning you were." And so, and literally, I get that every day. This man was like, he was so funny. He said, "I'm drunk, but I ain't too drunk to see how beautiful you are."
That's wild.
I was like, okay, sweet. But it opens, you know, it opens your face up and it allows people to see, you know, your beauty. And my grandma shaped my head so it's round, and you know, squeezed it every day so it would be round.
So you mentioned about your husband being an ex-offender. So you also, I see you pour a lot of love into people that are incarcerated currently and that are coming into society, reentering.
I love that population of people. They are so gifted and talented and strong. You know, I talk to my husband all the time about his mental fortitude. He went to prison at 17. Prison, not boot camp, not juvenile. He went to prison at 17. And I'm like, baby, I admire your mental strength for not hanging yourself or losing it, like going crazy, like crazy in there. So I have a pull toward that population of people because they are forgotten. They're disenfranchised. They're literally treated like animals. And I'm just like, but they're people, they're human, and they deserve another shot. They made a very unintelligent decision based on their emotion. And this is the consequence. And I do believe that they should pay for the consequence of their actions. That's not what I'm saying. But I do also believe in multiple chances because God didn't give me a second chance. He gives me one every day because I probably do something goofy every day that I don't deserve. And I just believe that they deserve it. I've seen my husband grow up. Unfortunately, he got some bad information when he went to prison. And it was like, well, you know, fight the biggest guy in here to prove you ain't no punk. And all this, like coming in the door instead of saying, "Hey, young man, make sure you're going to the library and reading. Make sure you're picking up a trade." You know, he fought. Because of that, he did become a boxer. And so he's a prize fighter. And that was good. But he didn't have any balance. And so he went to prison at 17. He came out of prison at 17. He was 24 in age, but he was 17 in his mind because he didn't grow up in prison.
Yes.
And so he didn't grow up in prison because he didn't read in prison. And I often say readers are leaders. And so when he came out, he had the same chip on his shoulder that he was forced to have when he went in based on what information he was told.
Sure.
And so when I go into the prisons now, I give them different information so that when they get on the outside, they'll have a different behavior. That's for those who are coming out. Now, for those that are staying in, because I also mentor lifers, is that their job is to then take what I say and impart that into the ones that I can't reach, because I only have limited reach. But because they're going to be in there, then they get an opportunity to reach those that are coming in with the same information that I gave them instead of them getting the crazy information like my husband got.
Now you understand that's the reason why you have a special kind of love from the restored couple.
Oh, I love the restored couple.
Yes. Yes. She never made us feel like we were second class citizens or anything like that. Yeah. And she's our biggest supporter.
Absolutely.
So that's wonderful. And we're very proud of Kevin. Kevin has just
he's blown up.
Yes.
He's gotten raises, and he got a promotion to lead, and now then shortly after that he got a promotion to be the head of all of the leagues. So God is truly
patience.
Yes. Yep. Patience and consistency. He has a very strong work ethic. Like he called me today on his break. I said, babe, what's wrong? You don't sound good. He said, the crane broke, so we can't do no work. I'm like, honey, anybody else would be happy. I'm like, what are you mad for?
Right, that's cute.
Like his work ethic is so strong. And he asked the people, he said, it's been people here way longer than me. Why did you decide to promote me? And so what I've taught him, because I've been working forever, is that you be now what you want to become. I said, so when I was a teller, I acted like a banker. And when I was a banker, I acted like an assistant manager. And when I was an assistant manager, I acted like a branch manager. And when I was a branch manager, I acted like a vice president. And so that's what made me matriculate very quickly through banking, because I was always a step ahead of where I was at. Same thing with this current job, is that I was doing things as the director before I got the director position. So my assimilation into that role was easy. And so Kevin said that helped him, because everything that he could do as a regular, while he was a regular employee, that he could do as a supervisor, he would. So he trained the new people. He took that initiative on, and that's what they told him. They said, well, you already act like a supervisor.
Oh, that's great.
So it was natural.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, so I got 2 fun facts about Miss Boykins over here. The first one is she is you listen in her car, you'll hear 2 types of music: gospel, faithfully, and trap
music. Yes.
Trap music.
Yes, I am the queen of trap music. I don't know, y'all. I love it. I used to be, so me and Kevin met dancing at CNS, for those of you who remember CNS 100 years ago, cut and stab, affectionately, a cut and shoot also. But we met there, and we met on the dance floor. So I was dancing, and I was shaking it up, y'all. And he couldn't hold his mule. So he was standing up against the wall, and he thought he was going to try his luck. And he came out there and tried to dance, and I shut him down. And I wiped the sweat off his brow, because he was dancing hard and I was too smooth to sweat. So after that, we exchanged numbers, and we talked. 3 days after that, he told me that he loved me. And I was like, boy, please. He also told me that day that we met was his 3rd day being out of prison. And 27 days later, he moved in. 3 months later, he proposed. A year and a half later, we got married. And if the Lord lets us see September 13th this year, it'll be 16 years married.
16 years.
Yes.
My goodness, that's wonderful. That is so wonderful.
Yes, we moved really quickly.
Yeah, but it's had longevity.
Yeah, definitely.
Longevity.
Definitely. A lot of prayer, a lot of selflessness, a lot of determination, because I went to college at 17, so I was my own person. He went to prison at 17. When we met, I was 22. He was still mentally 17.
Sure.
Even though he was 25, he was 24 years old. So just a beautiful love story. It ain't been cute. We've, it's life.
Yeah, it's life.
16 years, 17 years knowing each other. It's a lot, but it was worth every heartbreak, every heartache, every minute of it. It was worth it.
I love it. So the other fun fact about these 2 is that she is a diehard Ohio State fan.
Oh my God.
And her husband is a diehard Michigan fan.
No.
So they get a lot of. My husband's in the background dancing because he's a Michigan fan too. They had a little bit of a rough last year.
No, they've had a rough 18 years. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Go Bucks.
Now, mind you, she's got their colors on today. We won't even talk about it.
I have to represent. Happy spouse, happy house. So
right,
I have to
exactly.
represent every once in a while.
Right, exactly. So
yeah, diehard Buckeye, diehard Michigan fan. During football season, he's like, babe, let's get temporarily annulled because you're bad luck to the Wolverines. He tries to quit me every football season. But
That's funny.
yeah,
Woo.
I don't see it turning around in the near future.
Man,
either,
I'm telling you what, I want to quit my husband every football season too, because I could care less. And he's so is emotionally vested into it. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yes. Yeah. Him and Kevin are brothers for sure.
Between
sure.
Michigan and the Fire Stick, I don't know which one has more which love is.
I know.
So is there anything else that you want to promote?
Yes. So June 22nd, there's still time to register for the 50 Shades of Bald photo shoot if you'd like to. But the biggest thing that I'm proud of is on July 28th, Boss Up Columbus has 100 vendor spaces. Not anymore. We're down to probably around 70 vendor spaces available we're going to recreate Black Wall Street. May 31st and June 1st was the 98th anniversary of the bombings of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so we're going to commemorate that in Juneteenth, which is African Liberation Day, doing the 100 vendor spaces at the All Disabilities Festival on July 28th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So it's going to be a walk and a festival. And it's not just visible disabilities, but mental disabilities, depression, things that you don't really think about. You think about disabilities, you think about things that you can see. But there are tons of mental disabilities that you can't see as well.
So let me tell you how awesome God is. I reached to her one day and I said, listen, the Restored Couple wants to sponsor somebody.
Oh my God.
And so she put a post and said, somebody, who give us a reason why you would think you would, deserve this spot. And not like you deserve it, but just give us a little bit about why you think you should qualify for this and tell them.
So listen how crazy this is, y'all. This makes me want to run around this living room. So I put the post up and a friend of mine inboxed me a lady's name because she didn't want to expose, her name and story on the Facebook thread. So what I did was every name that I got, whether it's inbox or on the thread, I put it on a piece of paper, cut it up, and I put it in a little bag, shook it up, and I pull out a lady's name, and it's the ex-offender that received the blessing, the gift from the Restored Couple. But before I pulled the names, I said, God, I said, this person, this free space needs to go to the most deserving person. And then I pulled it, and it was her. And I was screaming at my desk. So I'm calling Dana. She's not answering the phone. She answered as soon as I was getting ready to hang up. I was like, listen, she won. So we both screaming on the phone. It was just the way that God orchestrated it was so awesome and so fitting that the Restored Couple would sponsor a table for a returning citizen. It was perfect.
Yes.
It was perfect. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Listen.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was. So how do people find you on social media?
Instagram is the _credit_connoisseur. Facebook is Shaundretta House Boykins, SHAUNDRETTA house, like the one you live in, and then Boykins, BOYKINS.
And your website?
www.thecreditconnoisseur.com. So that's THECREDITCONNOISSEUR.com.
I have to tell you, you have been a huge force in our family, my husband and I. And you are amazing. And I know you consider my husband your big brother.
Yes, he's my BFF.
Yes, your BFF. And we love you. We love you. And we love all the people that we want on the couch because we have such an interest. Sure. So people, but you're infectious. You're loving. When people meet you, they fall in love with you immediately, and you'll see why. Because this right here, all this just like an onion. There's so much in this. She's just an amazing person, and so we're very proud of you.
Thank you. And I will say that, iron sharpens iron. So you are the company that you keep. And so the same thing for you all. Like this, your story is so beautiful, where you both come from and having, these backgrounds and then doing it and the success story. Like this is something every ex-offender, you should be the poster child for, then you should be the model. You should be what they ascribe to be and do, is get out, find you somebody, and then figure it out and make it work. Figure it out and make it work. And you and my brother, Mr. Tui, have done just that. And not only that, I've told you before, because you're such a giver, you'll always get. So never stop giving. Not only financially, but your time, your energy, everything that you have is a gift. And as long as you give it away, God will always give. There's a scripture in the Bible that says he gives seed to the sower. That means the more you sow, the more he gives. And you can't beat him. There's no way to outgive him. And so the more you sow, the more you're going to get. So keep giving. This is a huge gift to people that are tuning in and watching, because this is free stuff. And this is a huge gift to them if they grab hold of it and utilize it. And that's a way that you're giving into the masses through social media. So
yes,
your reward is huge.
Thank you.
For sure.
This one right here, golden nuggets. You guys have a great rest of the week.
Night.
Have a productive Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Make something big.
Yes. Bye, guys.